A few months ago, my family spent a few weeks visiting Africa. Our trip included several different experiences, and I had the chance to learn about safaris, how they began, and how they affect the local environment. We went on two different safaris. One of them was at Naboisho Camp in the Masai Mara National Reserve, and the other was close to Laikipia, Kenya, where we stayed at Tasia Lodge. Before we went on our trip, I researched the history of safaris and learned about where they came from and how they evolved into what people experience today. When we were on our safari in each location, I learned more about the landscape, the people, the animals in both places, and how safaris have an impact on the local environment, and how all these things relate to one another. Safaris began in the 1800s when an English explorer, Sir Richard Burton, began to take people to Africa to experience the wildlife and environment. He began using the word safari, derived from the Arabic word safaria, which means to travel places. Safaris started becoming an attraction when Europeans began bringing people to Africa to see the animals that lived in the wild. Safaris exist today in many forms and different sizes. Larger commercial safari companies exist for people to relax and see animals to make a profit. Smaller communities also promote safaris as a way of ecotourism, which means making money off endangered wildlife and land masses to attempt to conserve them. Small villages also participate in safaris as a way of generating extra funds, which help with educating the children and providing extra livestock and supplies. Our safari in the Naboisho Camp consisted of a small collection of canvas tents hosting a maximum capacity of about 25 people. Our guides were native Maasai people that grew up in the area, and the camp was owned and run by wealthy South Africans. We went on morning and evening game drives when the animals were most active. Some of the animals we saw included zebras, giraffes, elephants, lions, leopards, cheetahs, warthogs, hippos, hyenas, eland, water buffalo, topi, hartebeest, Thompson gazelle, grand gazelle, impala, guinea fowl, ostrich, dik-dik, wildebeest, banded mongoose, hares, and jackals, just to name a few. The camp provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner for everyone every day. The camp was open to the surrounding wildlife, and several times we had various animals walking right through our camp. One morning at around 5 a.m., a zebra was killed by a pride of lions just outside one of the tents. On our other safari at Tasia Lodge, our experience was quite different. Rather than going on game drives each day, at Tasia, we went on walking safaris, learning about the land, the plants, the local people, and the history of the area. We went on morning walks to see the animals, and we also went on hikes with Maasai guides to visit the local caves where the Mokogoto people used to live. While at Tasia, most of our time was spent relaxing and simply hanging out. One day, I took art lessons from my friend Michael Potter, an artist from the UK who was visiting friends. Some people go on safaris to experience the unique nature of Africa, to see the plains, forests, and animals living in their native environment. Others go for more pleasure and relaxation, to meet other adventurous people and make new friends. I found that when I went on a safari, I had relaxation and a break from the fast world, and I was able to disconnect. Safaris impact the local areas both positively and negatively. Some positive ways that safaris impact animals and the environment are that safaris generate revenue that support the national parks that protect the animals and environment from recreational hunting and disruption of the land. Years ago, when safaris first became popular, the tourists would visit Africa and massive killings occurred, as people took their trophy game back to Europe and America, creating numerous endangered species. Though progressive ideas, innovation, and action, the national parks were created as a resolution to the conflict of endangering species of African animals. Today, the national parks control the impact that tourists have on the land and the One example that I experienced was the controlling of where people could drive throughout the reserves, limiting them to a physical road rather than allowing them to drive across the plains. Another good example of a positive impact would be the financial relationship between the local people and the villages with safari camps. During our trip at Naboisho in Tasia, We paid for the opportunity to visit the nearby local village and learn about their culture. Also, our Naboisho guide, Daniel, explained, "Working for Naboisho has given me money for college, housing, and a better way of life for my family." Some negative ways safaris impact animals and the environment are environmental damage, such as the erosion of dirt roads that are driven across, sometimes destroying animals' natural habitats. I also noticed that the animals are no longer affected by the vehicles because the vehicles are also not a danger to them. After being home from Africa for a few weeks, I've had the chance to think about all of our different experiences. On our safari, there are way more animals than I've ever imagined. I had the chance to meet a diverse group of people throughout the course of my trip. We were all very different in lots of ways: skin color, race, culture, language, but we were also very alike in many more ways. After traveling to a time zone 10 hours away and flying more than 21,000 miles, the world has never felt so small.
So, Saskia, about how old are you?
I'm